Welcome to Synapse 101, your weekly dose of neurology teaching. Today we will talk about the brain blood supply composed of the anterior and the posterior circulation. The aorta originates from the left ventricle, and the brachiocephalic artery originates from the aorta in giving rise to your right subclavian artery and your right common carotid artery. The left common carotid artery is a direct branch of the arch of the aorta, and the left subclavian artery likewise. The common carotid artery divides into external and internal carotid arteries at the level of the superior margin of the thyroid cartilage. The internal carotid artery enters the skull through the carotid canal. The two major intracranial branches are the anterior cerebral artery supplying the medial aspect and the middle cerebral artery that supplies the lateral aspect of the cerebral hemisphere. The MCA has M1 horizontal segment, M2 segment, and the superior M3 and the inferior M3. That comprises the anterior circulation of the brain. On the other hand, the posterior circulation starts with the vertebral artery that arises from the subclavian artery on each side. The vertebral artery enters the transverse foramina of the cervical vertebra. It enters the skull via the foramen magnum. The right and left vertebral artery join and form the basilar artery at the pontomedullary junction. The basilar artery is lodged at the basilar groove in the pons. It will finally bifurcate as the posterior cerebral artery on each side at the pontomesencephalic junction. The vertebral artery branches include one anterior spinal artery, two posterior spinal arteries, and the posterior inferior cerebellar arteries of each side. Basilar artery gives rise to anterior inferior cerebellar artery, superior cerebellar artery, and the small pontine arteries. There is actually a communication between anterior and posterior circulation via your posterior communicating arteries of each side. PCOM connects ICA and PCA. The two anterior cerebral arteries are connected by ACOM or anterior communicating artery, and that collectively forms the circle of Willis. And that completes the overview of your cerebral blood supply.